Welcome back to the channel. This is the IPP Education Hub. If you are someone that is considering an IPP implant, or you are partnering somebody who is going through the IPP process and you have questions about the journey, then you've come to the right place. I've been asked a handful of times from men that I've told about my IPP journey, would I do it again knowing everything I know and where I'm at? And at the end of the day, the answer is absolutely yes. But let me just tell you why. Now, I've been upfront on this channel that my recovery wasn't necessarily very easy. I had read a lot of things online that led me to question what was really the standard for recovery. I heard some people saying that they were okay after just a couple of weeks, and I heard other people online saying that it took upward of a year before their body started to feel natural again. I wasn't quite sure what to feel, but knowing that I was in my 30s, I was really hoping that I was going to be on that faster end of the spectrum. And so when I started to get to that 2-month, 3-month, 4-month time frame where I still was not feeling great, I absolutely was in my mind kind of thinking, did I make a mistake? Do I regret this? Is it not worth it? But now that my body has adjusted to the implant and I am so much further past the surgery that my body has finally healed from it, I would absolutely say that it's worth it. And being able to have a spontaneous erection without having to worry about all the other stuff that I've mentioned on this channel, like pills or injections, it is absolutely worth it. I think it's important to let people know that the recovery time, as I mentioned, is very different for every single person. And a lot of times I'll talk to people, and it's not just about the IPP procedure, but in many medical procedure instances, people kind of find themselves in this scenario where they start to wonder, are things going the way that they're supposed to? Or am I just by chance like that random percentage that things didn't go right with? Is that happened to be me? And if you are someone who thinks like that, then you're not alone. And I have talked to a lot of people that think to themselves, oh, I thought maybe something was wrong. So when we're talking about something that's as sensitive as your penis, it is understandable that every little step along the way, you're going to want to make sure that everything's okay, everything's healing as it should be, and that you're not experiencing any setbacks or maybe problems that would result in you having longer lasting issues when it comes to your IPP procedure. Now, it's going to be different for everybody, but in my circumstance, what I can say is that it was about the 5-month mark that I remember waking up one morning and thinking to myself, wow, this feels so much better. I had noticed incremental and progressive improvements up until the 5-month mark. So that means that essentially it was getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Once I was given the green light to be intimate again, I noticed that it would kind of go up and down. I would feel great, but then I would have an intimate experience. And honestly, I wasn't feeling great afterward. And a lot of the research that I've done has led me to believe that there were nerves firing and a lot of my body and anatomy was just working in ways that it has never worked before. And so that was sort of just coming all together. And every step along the way of that 5-month period was complex, to say the least. I had good days, I had bad days, but it was something that definitely had me wondering, did I make the right decision? Needless to say, I remember sort of looking in the mirror and saying, there is no going back. And so I knew that whether it was the right decision or not, it was the decision that I made, and so I had to move forward with it. And that's probably a lesson for life, but maybe I'll save that for another video. So anyway, as I got to that 5-month mark and I woke up one morning and I thought to myself, wow, this feels different. I would say that it's been from that point that I have felt much more confident and that I have felt a much higher appreciation for the implant, knowing that I'm starting to finally feel better. And the great news is, I would say that from that 5-month mark upward up until about a year, I noticed continual improvement. And every day that I thought, oh, okay, like I am finally better, I would even get better the next day and better the next day. And as you learn to use your device and your device becomes more malleable and you can inflate it and deflate it more quickly, all these pieces, they start to come together and it just feels so much more natural. And it's in those moments that I am incredibly grateful, and I recognize that absolutely I would do it again. Not only am I satisfied with my implant in general, but I often think about how much this has changed my life. I no longer have to worry about pills or injections, as well as all of the variables that come with either of those options, whether it's headaches, sinus issues, stomach aches, or needing to have the vial of Bimix or Trimix cooled to a specific temperature before using it. Whatever it was, you no longer have to worry about any of those things because you have the implant in you and it's ready at all times. There have been multiple times since getting my implant that an intimate moment has been disrupted. Something comes up, something happens, we have to take a moment, right? And I can't help but flash back to times in my life prior to the implant that happened and just how much that could affect an intimate moment. But now having the implant, it is such an easier scenario to recognize, and it adds such a sense of ease to those experiences that truly make it also really valuable and worth it. I would say that it's this element of peace of mind that has been such an influential part for me, because I'm no longer stressing over function and instead I'm enjoying the moment, which I think leads to better experiences for myself as well as the partners that I'm experiencing them with. I think that leads to better relationships, better self-esteem, and better mindfulness overall, as well as better connections with the people that I'm experiencing with. One thing that I do keep in mind is the fact that the IPP is not going to be a lifetime fix. It is something that I will likely have to get a secondary surgery at some point. The lifespan on these devices is usually from anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe 20 years. I'm hoping for the latter if possible. I guess you could say that's sort of just the cost of doing business, and this is what I need to do in order to have the freedom and peace of mind that the IPP has provided for me. I certainly recognize that everybody is different, but for me, I would absolutely say that the IPP is worth it, and if I had to go back, I would do it again. To me, it's not just about sex. It's about the freedom. It's about the calmness and the peace of mind that this has provided for me. And it's allowed for me to better connect with people and have a better value of self-worth for myself. I'll end by saying that if you are going through the process, then I hope that it's resources like this that are available that allow you to feel more comfortable in whatever it is that you're experiencing. But if you're anything like me, there can be a sense of ease within you knowing that once you recover from the IPP surgery, that you should be at a point where you are satisfied with your implant and will be very happy with it. At least that's been my experience, and that's been the experience of other men that I've spoken with about theirs. If you feel alone in this process and you are looking for a solution to ED and you are considering an IPP and you feel alone, just know that you're not. And there are resources like this available, and the increased awareness around ED continues to grow each and every day. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on those notifications so that you're in the loop every single time we release a new video here on the IPP Education Hub. As always, thanks for watching, and be kind to yourself and be kind to others.